Welcome back. Let's now talk about the creating value part of understanding strategy. Recall that effective strategies answer three questions. How will we create value? How will we capture value? And how will we deliver value? I'm going to focus in now on the value creation piece, which refers to, are we creating products and services that our customers value? And are we providing that value at a cost which is sufficiently low? The way we think about this is in a very specific way in the strategy literature. You may recall this diagram from basic economics. On the horizontal axis, we've got the quantity of units sold to your customers, and on the vertical axis, we've got price. A demand curve, as you may know, is a graphical representation of your customers' maximum willingness to pay for your products. It's not how much customers actually paid or how much customers wish they paid. It's a customer's maximum willingness to pay for your products. We call that the value that you create for your customers. If your customers are businesses, if you're in a B2B setting, then that value may relate to the cost savings that you provide to your customers through the technology or goods that you provide them. If this is selling products to consumers, then it just simply represents a customer's maximum willingness to pay for the products that they have for you. One thing that's interesting about this diagram is it emphasizes the degree to which we have customers that we create a high amount of value for, customers that we provide a low amount of value for, and customers that are in the middle that we provide a moderate amount of value for. One of the things that I want to discuss in a second is understanding how is it that we exactly provide value to our customers, and why do some customers value what we do more than others. That's going to be an important part of the conversation around being a customer-focused business. It's not enough to simply provide this value to our customers, though. There's costs that we incur in providing that value. The cost curve that I've drawn here, think of this as being an average cost curve, for example, is a representation of how much it costs to deliver that value to our customers. And the goal is not only to create value for customers, but to do so at low cost. The difference between the value we provide and the cost that we incur to provide that value is what we call the value created by your business. So, for example, this diagram, the triangle in the middle that's now shaded green represents graphically the total value created by our business. And in strategy, we're always looking for ways to increase willingness to pay and or lower costs so that we create even more value for our customers. Increasing willingness to pay, however, is one of the most challenging aspects in business because it begins with a deep understanding of exactly what it is that our customers value about our products. In strategy, we think about this using value maps or value propositions. Here's an example for online encyclopedias. Britannica, which historically has been a very famous physical encyclopedia, has transitioned to becoming an online encyclopedia, but in recent years has had to deal with the competition from Wikipedia, a very different kind of online encyclopedia. Along the horizontal axes is a description of the particular drivers of value from customers' viewpoint that they care about. So that includes distracting ads, copyright restrictions, accuracy, and so on as you read along the horizontal axes. On the vertical axes is the offering from each of these two companies, the degree to which these companies deliver on those particular value drivers. I'm not going to go through all of the value drivers here, but let's focus in on a couple of particularly interesting ones. Let's take accuracy, for example. For Britannica, it's always been an incredibly important part of their strategy that they provide extremely accurate information. A great deal of effort in their organization goes into ensuring that the information that they provide is highly accurate. As many of you know who use Wikipedia, the level of accuracy on Wikipedia, since it is crowdsourced content, is somewhat questionable. Oftentimes the content is extremely accurate, and I know from reading things that I know about that it actually is indeed very accurate. But I think we all know that the level of accuracy in Wikipedia is something that you might want to wonder about. To me, one of the most interesting things about this example is I would have thought that having an inaccurate encyclopedia would be a recipe for total disaster. It's hard to imagine that customers would be at all interested in anything branded as an encyclopedia where the level of accuracy was anything less than extremely high. However, what Wikipedia has shown us is that customers also care about other drivers of value as well. Diversity of topics, real-time access of information. Let's talk about diversity of topics for a second. Britannica has generally limited itself to topics that are of intellectual or academic interest. If you want to know about the history of Rome, for example, that's exactly the kind of topic that Britannica would always cover. But if you wanted to know about the latest iPhone and what new features are included in the latest iPhone from Apple, Britannica wouldn't have information on that. Wikipedia, on the other hand, covers a much broader range of topics. Topics around popular culture, topics that aren't necessarily things we would typically associate with being academic or scholarly in any particular way. And people value that. Customers value that with Wikipedia, you have access to a much more diverse or broad range of topics. The other area that Wikipedia has shown us is of real value is the real-time information. If there's an event which were to happen today, a natural disaster or a political event of some kind, it would be at Wikipedia we would find out right away. There'd be content at Wikipedia around the details of that event. In that sense, Wikipedia feels in some ways more like a news service. You can go there for real-time, up-to-date information. Britannica, as an online encyclopedia, is also providing more up-to-date information than perhaps they used to as a physical encyclopedia, but it's still not something that's a focus of their strategy. And people don't think of Britannica as a place that you go to for real-time information. Wikipedia, on the other hand, has become a very good source for real-time, up-to-date information. So it's fascinating to see that even though Wikipedia provides less accuracy than Britannica, the fact that they provide a broader range of topics and more real-time information creates a real sense of differentiation between Wikipedia and Britannica, and these are value drivers that in some ways are as valuable or possibly even more valuable to certain users of these products than we might have otherwise expected. Understanding what customers value, how we can create value for them in innovative ways, is I think one of the biggest challenges in strategy and essential to understanding the value creation part of the challenge. Value maps serve many roles. It helps you to be more customer focused. Value maps help you to focus on product differentiation. How can we be different in delivering different value drivers to our customers? The goal should not be to deliver a high degree of value on every possible driver of value, but to be aware of how you can differentiate from the other competitors that you face. Value maps are also an important internal process. Having your management team create value maps for your own business, for your competitor's business, in and of itself is a valuable process where you realize how people disagree on what is essential to creating value in your business, and through disagreement can become valuable, useful conversations. Value maps also help with innovation. It forces you to think about what are the specific drivers of value that we're providing right now, and enables you to ask the simple question, what are new drivers of value that aren't currently part of the conversation? It can be very helpful for being innovative in that way. And lastly, the value map, like the one I just showed you, is an incredible tool for communication. Helping people to understand exactly what it is that your business does to create value and how you differentiate from your competitors in one simple, easy to communicate diagram has tremendous value in and of itself. Value maps help us to think more clearly and strategically about how we're increasing willingness to pay for our customers. In this diagram, that will be captured in this high perceived quality dimension on the axes here. But recall from the earlier diagram that creating value is also about lowering cost as well. The costs at which we provide this value also matter. And on the earlier diagram, I talked about the goal of wanting to simultaneously increase willingness to pay and lower cost. But in reality, these two drivers of value are sometimes at odds with each other. In fact, in strategy, we're used to thinking of the notion that quality is costly. So that some firms provide very high quality but very high cost products and services, and other firms may provide very low quality but low cost sources of value. And this diagram helps to emphasize that there can be a trade-off between those two. Companies are choosing between high quality and low cost, as they figure out how to position themselves in the market. Let's think about an example. Here's the car market. We have very high quality, high cost car providers such as Ferrari and BMW. And at the other end, we have our low cost, low quality providers such as Tata. And then in the middle, there's a variety of different companies who are providing a combination of cost and quality that's distinctive from the other firms, but which is in some sense about providing great value. What this diagram helps to emphasize is this notion of a trade-off. Companies are figuring out where they want to be on the quality-cost spectrum. And there's a lot of research and discussion in the strategy literature around how to think about this trade-off and the relative positioning of firms in this space. But let's also note that there are instances where companies who are on the interior of this frontier, for whom there exists the potential to simultaneously lower cost and increase high perceived quality. So it's helpful in strategy to be clear-minded about whether or not the challenge you're facing is a challenge in which you are trying to choose where to position yourself in the cost-quality trade-off, or is your business in a stage where the goal is to simultaneously lower cost and increase quality as you move closer to the frontier. Understanding whether there exists a trade-off in your business between these two drivers of value creation, or whether you're trying to simultaneously pursue both of them, provides clarity around the strategy of your business and what it takes to succeed in what you're doing. Let's also note that this area in the middle of the frontier, which I've shaded in red here, is an area which is routinely thought of as being in the middle of the market. The firms in the middle here are neither low cost nor high quality, and historically these firms have been referred to as being stuck in the middle, firms that are confused about whether they're supposed to be high quality or low cost. However, modern strategy emphasizes this as being the set of firms for which it's a value-driven strategy, a unique combination of cost and quality that provides good value to customers. And here the examples of Lexus and Volvo I think are most instructive. These are cars which are not the highest quality cars in the market, nor are they the lowest cost cars in the market, but they are a unique combination of cost and quality that's appealing to many customers. That's fine. However, in most markets, this region where firms focus on value-driven strategies is often considered to be the most competitive segment of the market. And so there are real challenges around how exactly firms position themselves within this often intensely competitive part of an industry. We'll talk more about that shortly. So to recap, creating value is of course essential for a successful strategy. The value mapping framework or tool is an extremely useful way of thinking about how exactly is it that we provide value for our customers. It can help communicate that and can help you to think about how you can innovate around that. And then value-driven strategies, which are some of the most common strategies that we see in industries, are a way of providing a unique combination of high quality and low cost, but it's often an area in industries where the degree of competition is at its most intense. Next, we're going to move on to the second part of our framework, capturing value.